Good evening, students. This video particularly is about your performance in the JIGL paper, what you have given, and also about the other papers, what you have given, like company law and SBI. As you already know, that the test series is on, and I just wanted to discuss a few things with you that while you are solving the answers or interpreting the questions, this is my humble request that you should be very particular with the choice of words, with the way you are writing the answers, because if that is not so the case, you will write the answers, you will think that you have written everything correctly and properly, but that is not what is expected from by ICSI. That is not expected from you, and that is what ICSI is expecting, that the answers, what qualifies as a professional answer, should have every minute detail in it. Ma'am, whether the paper checking is so strict? Yes, indeed it is, because you are giving paper. I mean, even if it is CA, CS, or CMA, or any paper for that matter, you have to be very particular with the way you are writing the answer and with the choice of words. Like there was one paper recently, what happened in JIGL. I have the question paper with me. I will just tell you the question, and then we will look for the answer. I have on purpose, I have erased the name of the student, but this paper was covering chapter number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 11 of JIGL, right? So the first question ka third, first question mein, the C question was, explain the mischief rule under the interpretation of statute. That is the first answer what I can see here is. Now, if I start checking this answer, now undoubtedly many students were under the impression that we have AI based checking. So AI based checking here means that there will be a proctor who will be checking, or who will be just keeping an eye on the paper checker, that how much of the time was spent on the paper, on any particular sheet, on any particular page, like how much I am reading this and what all marks I have awarded, whether the marks awarded were correct or not. So don't be under an impression that any random checking is happening in the institute. And in the last attempt also, and in the previous attempt, December attempt and also the June attempt, we have seen there is a kind of change in the papers which are asked by ICSI, which were asked by ICSI, and the way the questions are woven, that also has changed. I have asked many of my students to ask for the copies, to call for the copies. They have done it, and those who have written good answers, they have got good marks. And where the answers lack in the clarity, or where the sections were missing, where wrong sections were quoted, they have undoubtedly cut the mark as well. So you need to be, again I am repeating it, you have to be very particular. Now, as you can see here, the answer, undoubtedly my student has done it properly. I always suggest to write the heading right in between, like answer to question number 1. See, this has been done very properly. Moving ahead, mischief rule is a role of purposive construction. Now see, because it is important while interpreting the law, this rule is also called as Hayden's rule. Hayden's rule is to remove the mischief in the statute. This is not the word which you are supposed to use here. It is a statute on the first place. Correct. Now, these are the mistakes what you are committing. And then we cannot expect from ICSI that they should give marks, or from any institute for that matter. I will also not give marks. Correct. Are you getting my point, that where we are lacking, what we need to improve? In Hayden's case, he gave 4 mischief rules that specified as follows. Now, there is a basic problem with the grammar. How you are uh, weaving your answer, what all words you are using, how you are explaining it. This also matters. Like in CS CET, we had one subject name as business communication. There was one point in the second chapter, if I'm not wrong, first chapter, sentence construction. मैंने पढ़ाया है वहाँ, how sentences are supposed to be woven, कैसे बनाए जाते हैं sentences. There should be coherence. Now, if I look at this answer, I am not getting any coherence. There is absolute lacking of coherence in it. Chalo, you are not knowing this. Next, moving ahead. Answer to question number 2A. Briefly criticize the Bentham's theory of law. Bentham's theory of law, Bentham, he commanded. Now, whether this makes any, whether it is making any sense, no. Bentham, he commanded man under to sovereign, that is pain and pleasure. No, this is not something what was meant by, sorry, this was not something what was meant by Bentham. This is not something what the paper is also asking, or what the paper setter is asking. Yes, there was a call. I'm very sorry for that. Now, next, if we go on to the next point, that is pain and pleasure. He followed the principles of benevolence. He stated that happiness on of each will lead to happiness of all. He says the sovereign power of making laws should be wielded not to guarantee the selfish desires of individuals, but consciously to secure the common good. It means, now see, I have already pointed out it here. After a period, you have to start your answer with a capital I. It means the law is made for common good, not for selfish purpose. He states his theory. He states his theory into 8 categories. He states his theory. Nahi, he categorizes the theory into 8 parts, or there are 8 aspects to it. Now these are the words, or this is how you have the coherence in your answer. Here it is lacking. That is scope, subject, objects of act, remedial rules, force, extent, criticism. Jeremy Bentham is not properly specified. Is, no, this is grammatically incorrect. So you need to understand the importance that how with the change in one word, change of one word can entirely change the meaning of the entire sentence. Correct? Answer to question number 1D. What is the 1D wala question? Let me go through it once. Rule of adjustum generis is merely a rule of construction to aid the courts to find out the true intention of the legislature. Explain. Rule of adjustum generis is a primary rule of construction in individual statutes when there is conflict between one or more provisions of the act to avoid contradiction. Now there has to be some supportive use of some supportive sentence or statement, maybe in the form of a supportive verb, conjunction ले लिया, कुछ तो भी डालना पड़ेगा ना, so as to again give a relativity to your answer. Now I know that you know the answer in bits and pieces, हमको आधा अधूरा पता है, but whether we know the answer in entirety, that is something what is demanded by ICSI or any institute. ठीक है, I know that sometimes the questions are out of syllabus, some questions are very difficult, you don't know the answer, ये होता है, पेपर आउट ऑफ सिलेबस होता है, नो डिनायल टू इट, आई एम विद यू, बट इफ you want to pass the paper, then ICSI has to give you that stamp कि हाँ आप CS बन गए हैं, you have cleared the paper, correct? And we have to at least match the standards what they are expecting from us, है ना? Professional से what they are expecting, we have to match that. So now see, 4, 4, 5 marks के questions are there and I have only awarded 1 mark. So in totality, if you get 23, 24, 26, 30, 32 marks out of 100 marks ka paper, then sometimes they are not unjustified when they award you such marks. है ना? Do you agree with me? ठीक है? Even if you don't agree with me, you can say this to me openly and then you should have a base to it. A question I will give to you, write it, submit it to me, and then I'll check it. Definitely I will check it and I will point out the mistakes. If there are no mistakes, I will award marks, then it is a win-win for both of us, है ना? But if there are problems, then I will correct it. I will suggest you the ways that how you can improvise your answer. ठीक है? Either way, we have to see the main intention is result. The main point here is that we want results from you. And how we can ensure this, how we can ensure that we will get maximum out of the limited time what is available with us, by making sure that we are not making any mistakes. See, we cannot take control or charge of the institute, but we can take control of ourselves. Are you getting my point? We have to take charge of what we are doing, how we are writing the answers. If we are not doing it, we are not correct in our behavior. तो हम जब अपने में चेंज ला सकते हैं, then we should try to bring that change. ठीक है? As you can see, there are many errors in the entire paper and hence the marks are cut. Simple सी बात है मैम. But ICSI can see the main intention behind what I am writing. But see, if the paper checker awards you mark and give you a pass result or give you very awesome marks, then what about the person who is writing everything correctly? There is an injustice, है ना? So try, still we have time. The papers are starting from December. We still have time. From today, if we start, we still have 3.5 months in our hand. ठीक है? We can still beat the paper. हमारे पास है टाइम. बट फॉर दैट यू नीड टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम टुडे. आज से स्टार्ट करना पड़ेगा. अभी हम अगर वेट करेंगे कि 1 month लेटर वी विल डिसाइड, वी विल थिंक दैट नाउ आई विल स्टार्ट टू राइट, अभी मैं रिविजन कर लेता हूँ, तो दिस स्ट्रैटेजी विल नॉट वर्क. यू हैव टू start preparing and also writing the answers. n number of times I have told you guys, सिर्फ ऐसे हनी भी बन के चैंटिंग नहीं करनी है. ठीक है? हमें पढ़ना है एंड देन वी आर सपोज टू राइट इट. द पर्पज ऑफ असाइनमेंट इज टू मेक यू राइट द आंसर्स. हम असाइनमेंट्स क्यों लिखते हैं? सो दैट, एंड दैट टू ओपन बुक असाइनमेंट्स. वी हैव गिवन यू ओपन बुक असाइनमेंट्स. अभी ओपन बुक असाइनमेंट्स क्या होते हैं? दैट आई हैव गिवन one question और मिधास सर हैज़ गिवन questions, हर्षिला मैम हैज़ गिवन questions. हम उनको ओपन करते हैं, हम बुक देखते हैं, देन वी राइट. वी सर्च फॉर द आंसर इन दी इवन द एक्टिविटी व्हाट वी वर डूइंग इन द क्लास व्हेन साहिल सर गेव यू सम क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम ECL. हम क्या कर रहे थे? व्हाट वी वर डूइंग दैट डे. बुक ओपन थी. साहिल सर वांटेड यू टू सर्च फॉर द आंसर्स सो दैट यू हैव द रिलेटिविटी. पूछा क्या गया है? मोस्ट ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स हैव वन मोर प्रॉब्लम. They don't understand that what is asked in the question. You remember I have asked one question from you about arbitration. The question was about the, I guess the essentials of arbitration or something was the question, and answer लिखा था number of arbitrator या ऐसा कुछ mixture गोलमाल happened. You remember? That day also I have pointed out towards the fact that you need to understand, you need to realize that the expectation of the question setter, paper setter, the expectation of the question and expectation of ICSI, 3 expectations are there which you need to fulfill. पेपर में क्या पूछा गया है? What was the author's viewpoint when he asked that question? क्या पूछना चाह रहे थे वो question से? And the third point, how you will answer that. And this is the expectation from ICSI. ठीक है? So there are many lacunas in the paper many a times. Now you will say, ma'am, you are only pinpointing towards the mistakes what we have done. My job is to pinpoint the mistakes only. If you are doing something good, applaud. I am applauding. भाई वो तो तुम अच्छा कर ही रहे हो. My job is to correct or to point out the mistakes. वो मेरी ड्यूटी है. ठीक है? Because the ultimate game is about result. ठीक है? अच्छा, one more point. All those students who have, don't ignore the date and time na. The iPad has the problem. The moment it connects with Mac, it gets stuck on 9th January, Tuesday, and the time which is displayed is 9:41. I don't know why. क्या इसको बीमारी लग गई है बेचारे को. But going to the study mat wala, the study material what have been uploaded in the app, as you can see, the suggested answers are already uploaded. There are assignments, there are suggested answers. Like recently we had one paper, company law ka, yesterday only, I guess, if I'm not wrong, yesterday or day before yesterday. So this is how this is the question which Midhas sir asked, and this is the answer what he has given. The main points, coverage of the provision, the analysis, and what is the final conclusion. You remember the pack technique what is suggested by Midhas sir for for writing the answers for the case study based questions. जब हमें केस स्टडी बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस आते हैं तो हमें क्या ध्यान रखना है? पैक टेक्निक. पैक टेक्निक वाज यूज्ड. करेक्ट? provisions, analysis, and the final conclusion. So now match your answer with the suggested answer. If you have written nearly the same as what is given by Midhas sir, good for you. You are moving on the right direction, towards the right direction, in the right direction, and on the right path. But if that is not so the case, there is some lacuna in the interpretation. Lacuna means gap. If there is some gap in the interpretation, tab gadbad hai babu. तब कुछ बदलना पड़ेगा, ठीक है। So I expect that every one of you has gone through it, and even tomorrow also one paper is lined up. SBIL paper is lined up. You all know it already. So the suggested answers along with the question paper वो already डाल दिया गया है, ठीक है। So just make sure that you go through it thoroughly. You go through the answers thoroughly. You go through the suggested answers thoroughly. If you don't do it, then nobody can assure you the the correct marks, the correct um, the correct path in a nutshell. Acha, one more point. We had one session about how to write the answers. ये किया था हमने, है ना। n number of times I have told you there is a margin, है ना, ये margin है. Let's say this is a margin. All answers should be indented towards the left. Don't start your answer from in between here, फिर यहाँ आ गए, then writing here, then मैं बहुत हड़बड़ी हो रही थी. We were unable to manage our paper. Then this is supposed to be done by you. यही तो हमें करना है. That you need to manage your paper, having a good handwriting, keeping a good pace, looking for the time कि you are not losing upon the precious time which is available to nowadays. 15 minutes का attempt में अभी मिलने लग गया है. 15 minutes का additional time is available for reading the paper. So make a synopsis in your mind. I have told you this, how to write the good professional answers. Make a synopsis, क्या 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 कैसे cover करना है. That's it, your job is done, है ना. So you should start your answer by writing in the middle answer to question number 1, whatever, or ANS 2Q or answer 1B. ये हमने किया था. I did one session in the month of December, if you remember, है ना. So just follow these techniques. I will be coming up with more videos for you guys so that you don't lose the motivation. And also if you commit any mistake, then I will point out like this. There is no specific purpose of choosing this copy. So please don't be afraid that अरे मेरी copy क्यों उठाई, this and that. On purpose I have just removed the name, ठीक है. So I will be selecting other copies now. Whenever I get the scanned version of the same, I will be selecting any copy in which there is a problem. जिसमें problem नहीं है, all flawless है, okay, good marks to you. But if there are problems, then I will definitely point it out. So see you in the next session very soon, the moment I will get the copy. And now see, one more mistake. This is not something which command. I know that you know the spelling of command, but you have written it command. I don't know why. Why? Because maybe at the time of writing the answers, you were not fully present in that moment. तो ये नहीं होना चाहिए, ठीक है. So if you have any doubts in the current paper, what we recently had of JIGL, then you can ask me. And soon I'll be lining up some more tests of JIGL. As of now, so the papers are lined up of company law and SBIL. After that, we'll be starting with CAFM and JIGL. Okay, we'll finish up the quarter syllabus test, and then on one day we will be having 2 to 3 tests. ठीक है, बैक टू बैक. सो बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दैट. तब मत बोलना नहीं मैम हमारी प्रिपरेशन नहीं हुई, वी वर नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड. नहीं, तब यू आर नॉट अलाउड टू से दिस. ठीक है, चलो दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे. थैंक यू, गॉड ब्लेस यू.